Hey everybody, welcome back to another Sunday Fun Day. If you didn't see already, we loaded up this Ferguson T020 in a previous short. There's a big story behind this. If you stick around, I'll tell you more of it later in the video. Right now, as you can see, or have noticed, the tires have seen better days. There's no tire left here. That's basically just the inside tube, and we need to get this off of here because we cannot move this tractor like this. Yeah, it doesn't want to go. Here's what's left of the tire. Need to get this whole rim and tire off of here. We got some new ones over that away. What we're going to use today is the 3/4 inch Aircat impact. And then another new tool is our portable gasoline powered air compressor, because we can reach the shop air, but once we get 400 feet away of the air line, I think it really restricts the flow on this thing. So this should really help it out. Let's see what she's gonna do. What's happening? What? I don't believe it. Like a champ. I don't believe those came off of there that easy. This air compressor and impact, awesome. This thing's been on there for, gosh, I don't know. This might even be an original tire. If it isn't, it hasn't been changed in the last 40, 50 years. We're gonna fire up the old crane, lift this so we can rotate it. That'll do. Got some dirt in there. We got the hammer. Oh yeah. Whole tractor moved on me. Major oversight. The jack stands in the way of the tire. Well, we got her up there, but we didn't make plans for the bolts. They're still in the old rim down here. These things are probably just this side of welded in there with all the rust over the years. We got the nuts threaded back on there. We're gonna hit it with the old air hammer, making sure to lubricate it, because this rig here probably makes a lot of water. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's super humid, really sweaty today. So that's all that moisture is gonna go in the air tool too. We keep her lubed up. Here's hoping they come out there without heating and beating. Yep, messed up the threads on that one. Son of a. Not looking good. Alright, we got them all cleaned up and silver streaked. We actually put these in the blast cabinet, and then we took them over to the bench vise and found a nut and ran it all the way down with, of course, the Never Sees silver streak on there. Took them out, slobbered it all over them. Now we're going to try to get them back on the wheel. One of these, little bit cross-threaded, but it should tighten up. I mean, cross-threaded is tight, right? Let's get this wheel on there. One down, one more to go before I drop it on my head. Got it. Ah, wrong way. Now do diagonal, let's try to pull it on the hub right. Now let's go around, make sure they're all tight. I'll wait on the air compressor to catch up. There he is, we're going to tighten it with the 1/2-inch drive. That way, if we ever need to take it off, the 3/4 will surely do it. That's the thought process anyways. The hub's pulling up into the rim on this ramp. Alright, we got one down, one more to go. Now we learned a little bit from that. We're going to go directly to slicing those lugs on the wheel. Get those bolts out of there a whole lot easier. Yeah, what we didn't show you is we took the bolts into the bench vise. I don't know if I mentioned this. Threaded the nut on there, never seized it up, ran it all the way down and back up to clean it up, and kept that nut with that bolt. Made putting it together a whole lot easier. But look at this. This is the first time this girl has ever had the right tire that isn't flat on both sides. Well, it will have the right tire on the other side. It's got that old backhoe tire. This is the first time it's ever had a tire that wasn't dry rotted and holds air. Isn't it a thing of beauty? Awesome. First time since we owned this tractor that it had a tire that wasn't dry rotted on this side. And hopefully, for too long, first time it'll ever have 2 matching tires that hold air. The other side, if you haven't noticed, is a big old worn out backhoe tire. That's always been wrong since we owned it. We just never had the money or time or wanted to spend the money or time to fix it. It worked, but it's way too big. This is a 13628, way oversized. It always sat lopsided, and it looks like this one's actually popping off the bead. So this thing's got to go. Once this goes, that side and that side will match, and it'll look a whole lot more like it's supposed to. We're going to do a little magic on this side. Hopefully that's fixed by now. Would you just look at it? I mean, just look at it. For the first time in over 30 years, this tractor is sitting level with the right size tires on that side and this side, and the side walls are not completely blown out. Oh yeah. Depending on how much you know about tractors or how close you pay attention, you might notice that I took the tire that we put on this side back off, came over and put it on this side. That's because they are directional, which we had right the first time. The hubs are also offset, which we had backwards. That's why you saw us taking this tire off over here that we first put on, bringing it over to this side, spinning it around, taking the hub completely off of the tractor, putting it inside of the rim. It's really obvious it controls the offset. So we had it on over here, the tire was over here. Big huge gap in the fender, which we noticed after that first one was on. Yeah, looks way better. Good old Ferguson. Hey, while we're here, if you know anybody that has this Ferguson badge, this little girl has been missing it since we've owned it. It's a T020. It's got wax all over it. So what's the story behind this little girl? Real quick. This was my grandfather's tractor. He lent it to his brother-in-law at the time, and fast forward 10 years, he bought a different tractor and his brother-in-law still had it. Dad and I went over and rescued it from his brother-in-law's, and my grandfather didn't need it anymore because he already bought a new tractor. So at that time the tractor was in pretty rough shape, had an old crappy loader frame on the front, missing pieces, and I was probably around 12 years old, maybe 11, 12, early 1990s, and I restored it. First restoration project, and Grandpa let me keep it because he didn't need a new tractor. She don't look too hateful. I always thought this was cool. Had tips on this one. Over the years, a little oily. Used a little bit, not a bunch. Fuel tank leaks. Nice little tractor. And again, the correct rims and tires on both sides with good rubber that isn't going flat or sidewall blowing out. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you knew what I was doing wrong, I hope you dropped down in the comment section and let me know. But if you're doing this yourself, make sure you consider not only direction, but also hub offset when you're putting the tires and wheels back on your tractor. We foobarred this one, but we learned our lesson. It only happened to be ridiculously hot, and I am super tired, and we're calling her quits.